Hi, welcome back to our channel. So today I want to share with you all the symptoms that we had with Corona. We had it as a whole family, and I just want to share with you what it looked like in the 2 weeks that we fought it. Now, it took me 3 months to make this video, and that's because we were still having some of the symptoms from Corona, and so I wanted to wait until everything was gone to share with you how long it took to completely be gone and what it is that lasted so long. So to start with, I woke up the first day and I just had a scratchy throat. I thought I was getting a cold. I took care of it with some tea. It like calmed down. And then the next morning it came back. And so I thought, oh, I'm developing a cold. Sure enough, in the meantime, we found out that we were exposed to somebody who had Corona. And so I just thought that morning, oh, maybe I should go get tested to see if I should be concerned about the kids catching it. We were wiping down everything at that point. We wanted to make sure that we don't pass it on to the kids. I went in to get tested on day one. It kind of felt silly going because all I had was a scratchy throat and I had a slight dry cough here and there. Again, I was thinking I'm getting the cold because I really thought that the symptoms would start more aggressively. So here's the video after I got tested.
So here I am leaving CVS and it looks like I cried. That's because when I stuck the thing up my nose, my body would not stop sneezing and tears were just running down my face as they told me to put in the swab and swirl apparently. I understood and swallow. So I did it wrong on one side. And then hopefully I did it fine on the other side. But there's like a line that you're supposed to put it all the way into that line, and I could not go further because my body would not stop sneezing. So that was an interesting and very uncomfortable scenario.
I came home that day and I felt the same, dry cough here and there with a scratchy throat. By day 3 though, my chest started bothering me. I didn't get my results back and I was starting to think it's bronchitis. I had bronchitis a lot growing up as a child, and so just the symptoms that I was having, it reminded me of bronchitis. That same day, I ended up getting a headache, which is not a big deal, but typically I don't get headaches. I honestly get them like maybe 2 to 3 times a year. Otherwise, I just don't have them. So I knew that it was a little more than just a cold, and again, I was just waiting at this point to see the results and see if we actually are fighting Corona. So by day 4, I was starting to get body aches, and now I was just deciding if it is Corona or if it's the flu. The body aches weren't too bad, so I started taking Tylenol to fight them, and I still had the dry cough and the scratchy throat. We did start vitamin C. It says online to take a high dose of vitamin C, so we put everybody on a high dose. It's at this point during this day that the kids started breaking out in fevers. So we have 4 kids, and 3 out of the 4 started having fevers. They had no other symptoms. They were just kind of groggy and tired. The fevers were the biggest thing that affected them. The kids ended up having fevers for 3 days. They did break when we gave them medicine, so it would come back to normal and we would think it was gone, and then sure enough, as the medicine would wear off, they would spike a fever again. But it wasn't too bad. They weren't like in a bad mood all the time. There was times when they were like more tired, but overall they were still just normal kids. They still were able to play, then they would lay down a little. So it seems like as the medicine was wearing off, they would need to rest a little more, and then again when they'd have medicine in their system, they were able to like play. Now the neat thing is our youngest, who was right about 1 at that time, was not affected by this at all. We were really concerned, obviously, since he can't communicate the way an older child would, that he would be affected, and sure enough, he got nothing. Now, that doesn't mean that every single toddler or baby will not be affected, but it was nice to know he was not affected. And we did try to wipe things down, but the truth is we did kind of assume that we would be fighting it together. Once the kids got it, we just assumed that he would get it. So we weren't able to really keep our distance from him since we were the ones feeding him and taking care of him, and he was obviously touching everything and crawling everywhere. So as best as we could to wipe things down, we already knew that as a family we would have it. This is also the day that my results came in. Unfortunately, they didn't call or email me. I had to log into my account and it said that my results were positive. Now by day 5, I started taking extra strength Tylenol because the body aches just felt really uncomfortable. Honestly, I felt like just throwing my body against like something to make it calm down. You know when you have like an ache and you like press on it? That's kind of how it felt, but it was from my waist down, and I just didn't know what else to do. No matter how I sat or what I did, it wouldn't go away. So there was a lot of sitting involved. I kept trying to take it easy, and the medicine just wouldn't kick in and calm down the pain so that I could sit without being in so much pain. It's during this time that we noticed that our taste buds and our smell were affected. So my husband, I remember saying, does this coffee taste funny? And I remember tasting and being like, it kind of does, but maybe because I'm not feeling feeling well. Sure enough, we were losing our sense of taste. We never lost it fully, but we did do a taste test of different just things that we tried, and it's just funny to see that I was lingering behind with all the symptoms, and I was affected so much as everybody was getting better. So check out the video on the taste testing that we did during Corona. Now, in terms of smell, we didn't actually even notice that it was gone. I don't think we walk around smelling things. You just, at a point you realize, wait, I haven't smelled anything in a while. And so I remember going and grabbing the downy pebbles that you put into laundry to make it smell amazing. The few times that I add it, I absolutely love it. But I went and I grabbed the whole jar, and I had my brother, who was living with us at this time, and my husband smell it, and I smelled it, and we just really couldn't smell anything. And if you guys know how those smell, they're really strong. So at this point, we knew we lost our smell completely. It was on day 8 that the extra strength Tylenol started working. So I just felt kind of an ease. I was still just exhausted, like when you have the flu and you still kind of feel the aches, but it was much more tame. As soon as I would feel the medicine wearing off, I would take more. I was on the extra strength Tylenol from day 8 until day 12. So I just took it, honestly, regularly. I tried to do the spacing out further. It just wasn't working. Every time I would wear out, I would be in pain again. And I was already with the scratchy throat and the cough, and there were so many symptoms already. I mean, just like the flu. So between day 8 and 12, I think that's when things started calming down. Even though I took the medicine regularly, at least I was able to get up and, cut up lunch and make things and even load the dishes. While in the first week, we weren't even loading dishes. My brother was actually recovering a little faster than us, and he helped so much while he stayed with us because my husband and I were both just down. Now, the reason it took me 3 months to make this video is because I wanted to wait until my sense of smell came back. So all the symptoms were gone, I would say exactly at the 14th day mark. So it took 2 weeks for everything to be gone except for our sense of smell. My brother and my husband ended up getting theirs back, and for some reason it still lingered with me. I smelled everything. I'd go to the garden, work with the mint plants, and I couldn't smell anything. I mean, it was so bad that I remember I was cleaning our shower. This is after Corona, and I was spraying this new chemical that I got to clean the shower. It was one of those super strong chemical ones. Sure enough, I sprayed it and I felt my nose burning. And again, I wasn't even thinking. I was like, oh my goodness, this thing is so strong and I don't smell it. So I ended up covering my nose. Even though I couldn't smell it, I wanted to make sure that I protect myself from breathing all that in. But I didn't even think it through how strong the chemical is, the fact that it's actually burning. And then again, I did this again when I was spraying with a spray can. The kids were like, wow, it's so strong, when they walked near me as I was spraying it outside. And I was like, oh, stay away, stay away. And sure enough, I sprayed it until my nose started burning again. So another situation was I was trying to make dinner and I turned on the fire, put the oil on. Apparently it started smelling throughout the house and I had no clue. Somebody lost something in the house. I was trying to help them find it, and the kids were like, what is that smell? And I'm like, I don't know, I can't smell it. I mean, this was 3 whole months of just reminding people that I can't smell. People would be like, oh, smell this. How does it smell? I can't smell. And so there were some definitely more dangerous situations that happened. I mean, that's as bad as it got. I really, really, really missed smelling. So this morning I woke up and I made myself some tea, and I feel like I finally got a slight smell of what it's supposed to smell like. And then sure enough, I ran to one of the essential oils because they're stronger, and I smelled them. And again, it's very, very, very light. But I just kind of went around the house and started smelling things. And even though it's coming back now, it took 3 months to just start. And I'm not even close to where I should be. I mean, it's so faint that if I had to smell several things, I would not be able to tell what's what. Hopefully our experience through Corona will help you. Now, this doesn't mean that our experience will be exactly the same as how you may experience if you get it. I do have to say I have a sense of relief. It's nice to be able to go in the store, and even though I'm wearing a mask and still being careful, since there's no research obviously that we can get it again, it does feel less stressful. Going to the store with the kids, I'm not as anxious as I was before. Obviously, we'd come to the car and we would wipe down everything. I mean, we'd wipe down everything we bought. When the groceries would be dropped off, or if we went to pick them up, we would wipe down everything. So it's nice to not be at that level anymore. Now we just, throw on some hand sanitizer. When we get home, we wash our hands, and it feels kind of like we're back to normal. Of course, we wear our masks, so that is very obvious we're not back to normal, but it is definitely a sense of relief. Hopefully our experience will just help you get a better idea of what it's like having it. Now, again, keep in mind, I want to make sure everybody remembers that we are a healthy family, and so I don't know the effects of Corona on somebody who's not as healthy or somebody who's elderly, but we are just so grateful to God that we were able to get through it, and it really wasn't absolutely horrible. I remember on day 2 of waking up, I found out that one of my dear friends lost her husband. Let me just say that hearing that puts corona into perspective. Now, that doesn't mean run out and get corona, but I do have to say that it helped us to deal with it. As we were facing it, I was really reminded, like, remember, so-and-so doesn't have their husband. I would say that to my husband. Like, we are so grateful to have each other, and it just really helped us to have a positive look on this whole experience. So even though we didn't know how hard it would get, our mentality walking into it was just really, really positive. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel so you can get the alert for our weekly videos. And go ahead and comment below with if you had it, if you didn't have it, and what is your biggest fear for getting it. All right, hope you guys all stay healthy. But I really, really, really miss spelling. And by misspelling, I mean missed smelling.